Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. And Mets Cubs, second of a 3-game series. The Cubs absolutely destroy the New York Mets, 10-3. They really lit up Jonah Tong in that 5th inning. They got 5 runs off him. They teed off for 5 runs there. And it was pretty much an ass whooping there, pretty much from there. The Mets were using Sean Manaea, Clay Holmes out of the pen tonight. So, man, Carlos Mendoza wasn't kidding when he said all options were on the table at this point. Clay Holmes, who last pitched in a bulk relief appearance Sundays, entered tonight's game on like a 2-day rest. I guess his job was to at least save the rest of the bullpen, but using the only other starting pitcher on the roster who isn't totally worthless, down 4-5 runs, who is a green ball pitcher while leaving Vientos at third base, is about as stupid as you can possibly be. I don't even know why he's out there. I don't even know why he's out there, dude. Your only other, I guess, starting pitcher, because he's been a starter most of the year. I don't get it. But yeah, Jonah Tong blew up, man. The first 6 batters in the 3rd inning all reached against Jonah Tong. Most of them on hard contact. 4 came around to score, and 2 more on base with 1 out and another run scored. They put him in a tough spot. He's clearly not ready. The veterans should be embarrassed to have to put Jonah Tong in this spot, because he wasn't good in that 3rd inning, but you can't just rely on 3 rookies in the biggest games of the season. He's just not ready, man. But he shouldn't even be up here. Like, they wouldn't have had to call him up if the starting rotation just could have done their job. But they couldn't, so they had to call up all these rookies. Nolan McLean's pitching pretty damn well. Brandon Sproat's been solid. Jonah Tong just isn't ready. It was just a mess, man. And I saw this tweet from Anthony Tacoma, like, oh, Cincinnati's on 82 win pace, it's becoming difficult to take the Mets as serious as a playoff contender. Dude, read the room. The fucking Mets, who have a $350 million payroll, you can't take them serious as a playoff contender. Shut up, man. Read the fucking room. Sorry, I just had to say that. But yeah, Tong blew up for 5 runs, but the Mets lost no ground to the Reds as they lost, and the Diamondbacks lost. So the Mets, Diamondbacks, and Reds all ended up losing. So there's no changes in the NL wildcard race. And the Mets, they remain in control of their own destiny. I guess it's almost like today never happened. But reminder that the D-backs were having an awful year and were sellers at the deadline, yet they continue to play hard in battle. The Mets, on the other hand, were buyers and consistently give you embarrassing performances. The National League 3rd wild card is like who wants it least. The battle of mid. The Mets remain in control of their own destiny is a pretty scary thought. But yeah, just a pretty embarrassing game from the Mets tonight, but it's about what you're used to if you're a Mets fan, is an embarrassing baseball game. But yeah, let's go over your stat sheet, because I won't make this too long of a recap. This is basically a Cubs ass whooping from start to finish. Jonah Tong for the Mets goes 2 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout in those 2 innings. Went into the 3rd inning, but he got took out with no outs. For the Cubs, Matthew Boyd, 5.1 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, gave the 2-run homer to Alvarez. Other than that, he was solid. For the bullpens, Dick Lovelady, or Richard Lovelady, who the fuck this is. 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Clay Holmes, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Sean Manaea, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Ryan Helsley, enter Ryan Helsley. 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Why did he pitch 2 innings? Down 7? Yeah, I don't know. For the Cubs, Palencia, 0.2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Aaron Savali pitched the final 3. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts for the Cubs pen. Or for their offense, Michael Busch, 2 for 4, a walk, 2 RBIs, and a homer. Nico Hoerner, 1 for 4 and a walk. Happ, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. Ballesteros, 2 for 3, a walk, and an RBI. Suzuki, 1 for 4 and an RBI. Carson Kelly, 0 for 4. Pete Crow, 0 for 3 and an RBI. Swanson, 1 for 4. And Matt Shaw, 3 for 4 and RBI with a solo home run. Well, the Cubs hit 2 home runs tonight, just teed off on the Mets. For the Mets offense, Lindor 0 for 4, Soto 1 for 4 and RBI with a solo homer. Alonso and Marte 0 for 4, Vientos 1 for 4, Nemo 1 for 4, Alvarez 1 for 2, a walk, 2 RBIs with a 2-run homer. McNeil 0 for 2 and Tyron Taylor back returned today. He went 0 for 3. And the Mets dropped to 81 and 77. They had 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 error, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 8th. Cubs, they improved to 89 and 69, 11 hits, 10 runs, no errors. They had 5 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 2 in the 6th. Let's go over your scoring summary. Bottom of the 3rd, Happ doubles, Ballesteros singles, Suzuki doubles, and Pete Crow with a sac fly. Bottom of the 4th, Matt Shaw hits a solo home run. Top of the 5th, Francisco Alvarez hits a solo homer. To bottom of the 5th, Pete Crow was safe in a throwing error, and then on a wild pitch, Pete Crow scores. That was just an awful play by the Mets. Clay Holmes doesn't run home to cover, and then Alvarez is just jogging. It was just a mess right there. 8-2. Michael Busch with a 2-run home makes it 10-2, and the Mets hit a solo to make the final score 10-3. The Cubs went absolute demolishing here. After they choked that game last night, and the Mets won, the Cubs just absolutely demolished them here tonight in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Rubber match tomorrow, see who takes 2 out of 3. 7:40 Eastern. It'll be Nolan McLean against Shota Imanaga for the 3rd and final game of this series. So, wild card stays the same. Not really much to say about this game besides it was pretty embarrassing performance by the Mets, but you've seen that really all season by this team. So it really isn't a surprise. But yeah, Cubs win 10-3. Leave a like, subscribe for more. Peace.